Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. We're going to talk Arrowhead Stadium, disc golf experience at Arrowhead Stadium, some redesigns of Clover Cliff and Muni for Glassbone Open, our Texas trip for Bag of Tricks, and a whole lot more.
So much more.
Hey, everybody, this is Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and I have with me Eric.
Hello.
Hello, McCabe.
Hello.
And Robert.
Also, hello.
Also, hello,
Goodbye.
McCall. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We're out of here.
Bye, guys.
So it is January 10th. We are a day late. Apologize for that.
That's my fault.
That
I
is
apologize.
Eric's fault. But what were you doing?
I was doing what we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yes, he was doing some redesign.
Yes.
Yeah. First let's talk about the weekend. I saw that Derek Savory had his Hopsonheiser, what week is this?
Oh, good question.
Million.
Fourth
It's
or
got to
fifth?
be
No.
way.
No.
Closer
It's
to 7th or 8th.
7th or 8th.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
even more.
So it's kind of a winter league that Derek, you guys got to understand, Derek Savory comes to us from New York.
Meat.
When it's over 70 degrees, he does
Sweats.
not do nothing. He doesn't like it.
Will not be outside.
When it gets to around the 50 or 40 degrees, he comes alive.
Yes.
So he started a winter league here in Emporia called,
It's like reverse hibernation.
I know. So
It is.
called Hopsonheisers, where you go out and you play different courses, and then afterwards, everybody goes out to Radius. And everybody knows that's a microbrewery here in Emporia. They go out there, they hang out, and have a good time.
We have $2 drinks, $2 beers,
Yes.
and half price pizzas.
Absolutely.
Is the deal.
So
that's why
we've
we go.
always, and we suggested that last year. If you looking to do something in the wintertime, hit up a local brewery or a restaurant, see if you can get some discounts for if you could bring a group of disc golfers in to hang out after the event. Anyway, the course they went to was Clover Cliff.
Yeah, we decided to go out to Clover Cliff this week because the weather was looking really nice at the beginning of the week. And I had just caught wind that Warren Harshman, who is the owner of Clover Cliff, he got pretty much all the course done with, as far as moving baskets and moving tees. He's got, or tee pads. He's got all of that done. So I was excited to get out there. I wanted to get out there and play it. I wanted to get out there and play it on a competitive level to kind of see how the flow works, how the course plays.
Yep.
And excuse me, there's still quite a bit of work to be done as far as leveling a couple of the tees still.
Sure. Cleaning.
Some trees that need to come out,
Yeah.
some gaps that need to be cleaned.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I cannot tell you how excited I am about this course.
It's super fun.
That it's within an hour of us.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it's another course that we can just go play.
Yep. Lots
and
of
it's like nothing.
elevation that we don't really have here. Even if it's just like a really sharp uphill, really sharp downhill. I mean, we just don't have a lot of that. So
we
it's really
don't.
cool.
Around here, we have a lot of gradual hills. Country Club has some pretty decent elevation,
Sure.
but this place is like throwing straight down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the middle of the Flint Hills, so it's, man, that course is gorgeous. I'm so excited for it.
Front half is pretty open, open-ish. Back half is quite a bit more wooded for the most part.
Yeah,
So a good variety on the whole.
Kansas wooded.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but no, it's great. I'm super excited about it.
So it's a bed and breakfast out in, what's the name of the town it's in?
It's just west of Cottonwood Falls, Strong City, Elmdale is the name of it.
Elmdale. So if you don't know, if you've never heard or seen anything about it, we did a couple of vlog style videos on YouTube. So you can kind of search Clover Cliff in there and watch, and you can get a glimpse of somewhat of the course.
I think all the videos that we had done before were the original design, but you can get an idea of the property.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll put links in the description of this particular podcast, but you can go out to clovercliffranch.com and get more information. So anyway, Eric went out there to kind of check it out and look over some of the redesigns that he's doing to get it ready, because it's going to be one of the courses played in Glassbone Open 2018. Which division do you guys know off the top of your head?
I believe it's advanced and intermediate.
Pretty sure
are
that's
the
right,
two divisions that will be out there.
And I think it's going to be a great fit for those divisions because I think there's going to be a lot of scoring separation.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of birdies available, but you've got to execute. And if you get in trouble, man, you could really take some high scores.
And one thing I'm also excited about, I was chatting with Warren the other day about it. He wants me to come back out and potentially put in shorter pads and longer pads.
Oh, nice.
So make it like 3 tee pads per hole, so we can have like a true championship level course out there, you know, an upper advanced level style. And then of course like a recreational style where, you know, people staying at the bed and breakfast and aren't familiar with disc golf but want something to do can go out and play and have a good time and not be discouraged.
Yeah, it was great. We had a great time.
And real quick, another course design or redesign we've done is the municipal golf course out here in Emporia. But last year we only had one disc golf course out there.
Correct.
Now we're going to have two of them, a Muni Red and a Muni Blue.
Yep. We had approached them when we, you know, saw the waiting list and thought, you know, what can we do to add more courses? Where can we go? Well, that was our first thought is, well, let's, you know, we got the back 9 of their course. Let's see if we can use the front 9. And they, you know, weren't too interested in closing the entire property down to golf for the week, which makes sense. I get it. But the front 9 is more spread out golf-wise than the back 9 is, because the back 9 is, you know, fairways next to each other quite a bit, and as where the front 9 goes out and back, so it's more spread out, so there's a lot more room. So you could put 2 18-hole courses out there, and that's where I was yesterday. That's why we couldn't record yesterday. I've been spending quite a bit of time out there on the golf cart, driving around, getting out, throwing shots, and just trying to really figure out if we can get 2 solid 18-hole courses out there, which is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be better than the normal Muni layout. That's just kind of a boring, long, more link style of course with a lot of OB. This isn't going to be as much OB. It's going to be more natural OB with the cart paths and the greens and the bunkers and tee boxes. But both of the courses are going to have a little bit more woods, a little more mature tree lines, and it's not going to be championship level. It's not going to be, you know, the top pros aren't going out there and going to have any concerns out there, but they're not playing it. I believe the 2 divisions out there are intermediate advanced men and advanced masters. So for that level of player, man, this place is going to be awesome. They're going to have so much fun out there.
Do we know if any of the C tiers, the flex C tiers, can be played out in that course?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think out there, because this is the unique course. It's temporary,
and it's still a functioning ball golf course. So
exactly.
Yeah, we can't close it down. So.
Yeah. So it's the only course that we're using a GVO that's not permanent.
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of our listeners, or if you're going to Glassbone Open, or if you're just curious, are itching to know what these courses are going to look like. About 2 years ago, we did some course preview style videos, and we plan to do something very similar for some of these courses, especially the ones that are going to be new and stuff like that. So definitely look to our YouTube page, and we'll let you know when we put that out there.
Yeah.
But we gotta wait until the weather gets a little nicer, and we
I don't know. Come on, today.
I know. I mean,
Tomorrow.
and
Yeah, gosh.
and you know, looking at past videos. I think we need to try to wait as much as we can until the grass gets pretty green.
Yeah.
Because we want it to look really nice, because it'll be green come Glassbone Open. So that's what we kind of like.
And that's the, you know, the downside to having to do that, because if we wait till everything's green and good to go, that's like a few weeks before. So, you know, it's hard for,
and then no one has
that.
it to watch
But,
and practice. So.
You know, not to keep talking about new courses and course design and all that stuff, but the country club's having a little bit of a makeover as well for any pros listening out there. I know that in the past, we started at the pool area, where this year we've changed things up a little bit, and we're going to start on a different hole. Going to have a few more changes out there to kind of help, hopefully with a little bit more scoring separation on the course, and
A little bit of flow as well.
a little bit of flow. Yep, absolutely. So you're still going to finish on the great 18 up the hill, but we're going to have a few more tweaks on the course than in years past.
Awesome.
Yep, we went out there the other day, and we finished what is normal hole 17 when the island hole isn't in.
That's
and
right.
It was 50 outside, but the water by the island hole was still frozen. And so we all threw shots at the island hole. That was super cool, and then walked out on the ice, and that was terrifying.
Yeah.
So
I saw
anyway,
a perch in the ice,
just
frozen in the
Oh
ice.
yeah, you put it on Snapchat or something.
Yeah, it was on
didn't you?
Snapchat.
Sorry, it was crazy.
sorry, Perch.
Yeah, I felt bad for him.
Sorry for you. All right, well, let's hop into the questions, guys. As always, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf question. You can do it either through SpeakPipe, where we love to hear your voices, or you can submit it through the Google form, or if you'd like to, if you're on Facebook, you can submit it to the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook page. Go to that and submit a message there. Just know, real quick, if you guys are sending in questions, try not to make them time sensitive. Right now, I'm looking at 36 questions, and that's just in the Google form area. So we get a lot of questions. We don't want to stop you from asking questions, but when you ask questions like, hey, did you see that tournament, blah, 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 it might be a few weeks before we get to it.
What do you think about this tournament coming up this weekend? We may not see that.
Yeah. All right, so let's go from, we got one from Adrian. At what age range would you suggest for using the junior disc golf discs?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not super good with knowing ages of kids.
Yeah, I mean,
size wise, I think I don't know if it's an age specifically, but size wise, I would say if a disc, a normal size disc, is awkward in their hand and they're kind of struggling to throw it, it's the size of their head. You know, that's maybe when you should look at maybe getting them a junior disc to start out with, just to kind of get their technique down.
I think they could be good starters for anybody who's even just starting out playing up to like, age 10 or something like that. Once kids get a hold of disc golf and they kind of understand it a little bit better, then probably 8 years old would probably be as high as you'd want them to always be throwing the junior ones. I think you'd want to work them into the full size discs at that point. But up until that point, I think they're great for that. And just for fun stuff, they're great for that too.
For funsies?
For funsies.
Just for funsies, not for munsies.
No.
Only
not for munsies?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, next one comes from Noemi. No, not Noemi. I'm so used to saying Noemi. Naomi.
Yes.
So sorry, Noemi and Naomi.
Yes.
Anyway, women players that I've played with all talk about using lower weight discs, but I don't see the difference. When do you suggest using lower weight discs? My impression is it seems to be if you're not quite have a strong arm, if you're not a power thrower, it seems that people that aren't power throwers tend to benefit from having air discs or the much lighter disc. My understanding is because it doesn't take as much strength or
snap.
There you go. Arm speed to get the disc to do what it's supposed to do. So the lighter weight kind of aids in that. It just seems that when I grab like an air trespass, I can make it turn over much more than I can a regular trespass. Of course, wind is obviously a factor and stuff like that. But if there's no wind and all things are equal, I can get an air trespass to turn up or flip up straight before I can do a regular trespass.
Turn it up. So can
tighten up.
Lighter plastic will also enhance your flaws.
Sure.
A lot too. So if you're constantly turning stuff over like lighter plastic, that's when I think maybe you should try something a little heavier, like in the 160s or something like that too.
Yeah.
So
for sure. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It wants to stay in the air longer just because it's less mass to keep in the air. And so that you can get longer flights. And a lot of times that means straighter flights too on air plastic.
So a lighter weight might be something that you try out, begin with. But if you find yourself turning those over too much, then maybe the lighter weights isn't right.
Or form. It could be a form.
I was going to say, make sure everything is still clean on that.
Yeah, true that. Next one is from Jacob. Doing research on good discs for newer players and people with lower arm speeds. Go with lighter discs. There you go.
Andy,
next question. Thank you, Jacob.
The most common attribute is a smaller rim for easier throwing. My question is, what if you have larger hands and a smaller rim doesn't fit it as it should? What would be a good disc selection?
I mean, I think if you're just starting out, like you said, I think the Air Trespass is a great one. The Air Escape would be a great disc. It's a smaller rim, but it's not like not a diamond or a ruby around those sides. Well, ruby's really, really small. Jade is the other one I was thinking of.
Breakout.
Yeah. I mean, those are going to be a little bit smaller, but yeah, I think the Escape would give you some nice glide. It's a little bit more substantial rim. Those are ones I would try out.
Trespass, I think, is a good one because it's not a small rim. It's a decent sized rim. It's not a large rim, but it does feel really nice in the hand.
So this is, and if I'm understanding this correctly, this is kind of why I get on my soapbox when it talks about numbers, because a disc may have similar numbers than the other disc, but it's still going to be the rim might be different, or or the height might be different, or something like that. So it's different. I was almost thinking of a Freedom,
right?
Because a Freedom has a wider rim, and that's no. Maybe not.
I mean, it is. The Freedom does have a pretty
super
wide rim,
yeah.
But the Freedom is really hard to throw.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, I think. I personally, if it's a beginner, someone starting out, Freedom is the last disc I'm putting in their hands because of how fast it is.
Okay, that's true. That's a good point.
I want to give them something neutral flying first so they can learn angles and how to throw shots.
All right, so don't ever listen to me.
Plus,
no, it's fine.
No, I'm just teasing. No, that makes sense though. That it is a faster disc.
Yeah.
So it might be harder for a newer player to get it up to speed. All right, let's jump over to SpeakPipe. See what Kevin has to say.
Hey guys, Kevin here from Washington State. Love all that you're doing with the show. Really appreciate all that I've been learning from you guys. Today my question here is about mid-ranges and when you guys select to use them. When I first started out the sport, it seemed like disc selection was very easy. Basically, use some sort of driver off the tee, use the mid-range in the middle of the hole, and then when you're trying to put in the change, use a putter. In the last year or two, as I've really started getting into the sport and watching others play, I've noticed that you could use all sorts of discs for different types of shots off the tee, in the middle of the fairway, and as you approach the basket. But also, as I've advanced, I've started using my putters more from within 200 feet. And then outside of that, I tend to kind of jump to my fairway drivers. My question is, when do you guys select to use your mid-ranges? Maybe what sort of circumstances go into that selection? I know right now a lot of them tend to sit in my bag unless it's kind of sitting right in between 250 to 200, maybe, somewhere around there. Like I said, mostly using the putters to approach these days, and I just want to know your guys' thoughts. Thanks.
What you guys got?
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. I think that's not a bad spot for mid-ranges to sit. If you're confident with your putter inside 200, then mid-ranges for you would just be just outside of that, where you think you'd really have to crank on a putter to get it there, but you'd rather throw, like a comfortable 80% shot and achieve the same sort of flight that you might be able to get from a putter. That's when I think you would want to reach for a mid-range. For us, it really just depends on the shape of the hole for the most part. Distance wise, distance is obviously important, but my philosophy for the most part is I want to throw the slowest disc that I can for the shot. So if for me, if I can throw a Warden, whether it's off the tee on an upshot, I like to, because I'm really comfortable with that disc and the stability of it. Same with an EMAC Truth for me. If the shot is, I don't know, probably anything inside 350, 340, something like that, I really like throwing a mid-range because I don't need to then back off a fairway driver. I can just hit that mid-range. That's when I like to throw them. Now, things change with the wind and with low ceilings and with the terrain of the green. But for us, I think, the slowest disc that you can throw to accomplish the shot is the one that I like to throw the most.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For me personally, I'll tend to reach for my EMAC Truth a lot more than I reach for my putters.
Right.
I know you
we're
tend to throw the Warden quite a bit, and you throw it well. And I think a lot of that just is comfortability. It's confidence, having confidence in that disc. You do very well at throwing that disc. Me, I've always been a mid-range guy. If I can throw a mid-range, I'm throwing a mid-range.
Right.
I mean, I'll throw it on 400-foot holes if I have to. I just feel a lot more comfortable than throwing something like a driver, like you had mentioned. And then as far as when I throw my putters, it kind of depends on the line I'm trying to hit, what the green looks like. If I have to overpower a putter, I'm going to tone back an EMAC Truth.
Yep.
It's just easier. I just feel a lot more confident. And that's what it really boils down to. What are you more confident in throwing? What gets you the higher percentage? that's what you need to stick with.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a guy I played with when I lived in Abilene. His name was Andy. You might have met him from Alaska. Super beard.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Super cool guy.
I played with him in McKinney a few times.
Yeah. Andy's a great guy. Didn't carry a mid-range. I bet he still doesn't carry a mid-range in his bag. I feel like the slowest thing that he carried was like a Firebird or something just around that range. He just didn't he would jump putt if he was inside, 90 or 100. And if it was anything longer than that, he'd just throw like that. Or I think he had a Z-Force in the bag that he would throw. It's honestly just what he was comfortable with. And so, yeah, I mean, if mid-ranges aren't what's super comfortable for you, keep working with them, work with them in the field or whatever. But when it comes to crunch time, if you feel more comfortable throwing a putter, throw that. If you feel more comfortable with a fairway, throw that. I mean, there's a lot of ways. How many? There's more than one way to skin a cat. Is that what they say?
Yep.
Yeah. More than one way to score in disc golf. It's a lesser known phrase, but equally as
trademark it. Trademark it.
That's right.
All right, cool. So we mentioned earlier, I'm sure in an earlier episode last year about the new disc golf experience that we're going to. But if you haven't heard, if you don't know, we have done 6 disc golf experiences.
If you count the Poconos.
Yes. 3 disc golf experience at AT&T Stadium, 1 at disc golf experience at Nissan Stadium, which is home of the Titans, the Tennessee Titans. Of course, AT&T is home of Dallas Cowboys. Mike Solt headed up disc golf experience at Pocono Raceway twice, and that is in Pennsylvania. All of them amazing times.
Yeah, fantastic.
So great times. And so Doug Bjerkes, our event coordinator, HR extraordinary guy.
Dad joke. Curator.
Curator of dad jokes. He did some research and reached out to a few different, also Brian Lamoureux put in some work to figure out where do we go next. And we landed on Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Myself, Eric, Jeremy, and Derek. Doug went out there to check it out. It is a
Derek.
I will admit, I was surprised at how nice the stadium is. I wasn't expecting bad, but I just.
Well, when the first time that you probably had experience going into a football stadium was going into AT&T Stadium,
which is really nice.
that's like
not. I mean, it's not that.
It's like one of the highest as far as standards go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Super duper cool place.
Yeah.
So we went out to initially meet with the people, and of course we talked numbers, we talked contract negotiations. What can we do? What can't we do? And we figured it out, and we're doing it on July
19th, I
15th.
believe. Okay. Let me look. I got it on my calendar.
So anyway, registration opens February 14th, holiday day.
On my birthday.
Valentine's Day.
My birthday.
Registration will open up. I don't know what time it will, but some people have been asking me on Facebook, so I wanted to get that out.
June 16th.
June 16th.
No, it's 15th. No, Bobby said so.
He said July 15th.
So June 16th, we're going to be out there at Arrowhead Stadium. If you are in the area, even if you have to drive a couple hours, I highly recommend, because it is just a really cool thing to be able to throw plastic in a stadium, a football stadium.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, we had a lot of DD sponsored pros out at the one at Nissan, as well as the ones in Texas as well. And so I would assume we'll have that at this disc golf experience as well. And it's really fun to just throw around with those guys. Eric and Tina were out there. Zach Melton was out there. Paige Pierce was out there. Eric McCabe was out there. We had a whole lot of Danny Lindahl came out for that one, and Jared Neal.
Yeah,
we had a lot of team people out there. So come and check that out. If for nothing else, then just get to throw with those people and say what's up to them. They're cool people for the most part. Mostly cool people. I mean, Eric will still be there, but that's okay.
Don't talk to Eric Oakley. That's so rude.
Sorry.
So rude.
All right, so we have Cameron. He asked us a question on Facebook. He says, hello, I have a quick question about tournament divisions. I am new to the tournament scene, but wanted to participate in at least a couple this summer. I have never been in a tournament before, so I'm unsure as to which division I should sign up for, intermediate, advanced, or open. I would say my average drive is around 300 feet, and I'm pretty reliable putting inside of 20. So based on that information,
all that will change as soon as that 2-minute warning goes off.
Yeah.
If you're throwing 300 feet consistently, I mean, if it's your first tournament,
play intermediate.
I would say play intermediate.
Why not?
Just to see where you stack up. And you may be called a bagger if you end up winning by 5 or 6 strokes, but you never know. You never know. You never know where you should be until you actually give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
I think intermediate's a great spot for you to give it a try. And, you know, if you dominate, you can move up to advance at the next event.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
And I like too, if you've got other tournament players in your area, see where you score in relation to them, and then see what division they play in. Because sometimes that might be maybe they play intermediate, but they're kind of on the bottom half. So you might want to start out in recreational. Maybe they're on the other end of it. Maybe they're in intermediate or advanced, and you might want to start out there. Either way is fine. But just know, like you said, once the 2-minute horn blows and it's your first tournament, there's no feeling quite as nerve-wracking as that. I remember we were at Turner Park. I threw a forehand on the first hole. I never threw forehands at the time, and I put it like 10 feet away. I was like, dude,
oh my goodness,
I'm so good at this game, guys.
I am the best.
Yes. And I swear to you, I missed the basket from 10 feet. I bet you I missed 3 feet to the right. I was just so like jittery and I'm going to do stuff. So yes, prepare for that. It will be a different deal.
Very, 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 very true.
All right, so we got another question from Facebook. This is from Zach. Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. First off, just because it's fun having Bobby try to pronounce names, he wants me to pronounce his last name, but he told me how to. It's Pagic. Even if rhymes with magic. Pagic.
Did you say this is Tim?
Magic. Here's a question from Pagic.
Nice.
I don't even know what song I'm singing.
I think you have a future in music production.
Do you believe in magic?
It's close enough.
No.
That's the only song I can think of that has magic in it right now.
Anyway.
Well, there's another one, but I don't think we should sing that one on Disc Golf Answer Man.
Probably not. This is a children's show.
Yes, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no. Anyway, he says, Magic Pagic says, I've been playing for around 2 years now. I've made a lot of progress in my game, but my putting from anything over about 30 feet is awful. If I try to do any kind of powerful putt, like a jump, I end up throwing it way too lofty, like a baseball tossed underhand. So the accuracy is awful, and I don't get much distance anyway. Tips on how to do an effective jump putt.
Ew.
Well, definitely don't take a picture of it because everybody on Facebook will say you foot fault. So
no, foot fault. Don't do that.
So how does he get more effective at his jump putts?
Practice them.
Yes. Number one, do it a lot.
Do it a lot. For me, I don't, and it depends on your putting style. For me, if I'm jump putting, how far out would you say I am? If I'm actually jump putting?
I mean, at least 80.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, maybe longer.
But I'm a spin putter, so I can get, I can generate a lot of spin, which gives me loft, which gives me distance. So I can get a lot more power behind it, and I just feel a lot more confident doing that way. Occasionally, I'll do a little step if I'm trying to, give it an extra run or something. But, yeah, it kind of depends on your putting style. But honestly, the only way to do it is get out and practice it. Tips is, there's really not a lot of there's nothing I could say that, okay, this is what you need to work on.
And now you'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, it's really all about getting out there because everybody's form's different. Like look at, for instance, like Paul Ulibarri. He is known for jump putting or step putting.
One of the best, if not the best, just step through putters that's out there.
Absolutely agree. So, there's different variables that go into it, but I can just strongly encourage you to get out to the practice basket and just constantly work on something, work on different mechanics and whatever really is feels comfortable to you.
I would also try go through your regular putting motion. Say you're at 35 or so you're just outside the circle. Go through your regular putting motion, but follow through so much that you are forced to take a step forward. Like your weight is so much over your front foot when you let it go. Like you're exploding so much forward that you have to take a step, because that's kind of the starting of one of those step putts, is following through so much that you do need to step through.
Now there's a couple different styles. You can do the step putt or you can do the jump putt, an actual jump.
Right. Yeah.
Which you don't see a lot of that anymore. You don't see a lot of the jumping. You see more stepping more than anything these days.
Other than just trying it out, there's not like a secret where you can just say, hey, just do this and you'll make it. Because if there was, I would like to know it.
First, you take all your change out of your left pocket, put it in your right pocket.
Put the balance back where it needs to be. Good point.
Or you can just put a change in my pocket.
There you go. If you want to do that.
I'll give it to you later.
I don't believe in change.
All right, next question comes from Boo.
What up, Boo?
What's up, guys? So since Bobby was such a huge fan of my idea last time I called into the show, I figured I'd switch it up to a short story for you guys. This one's mostly for Eric.
I can recap that if you want.
Yeah. Well,
He was talking about making plastic names uniform across companies. So instead of BT and Classic,
He was
and
being
Zero,
sarcastic.
right, because I wasn't a fan, correct?
you were not a fan.
All right. So
We messaged back and forth about it a little after. He said, "So Bobby really didn't like my idea." And I was like, "No, he did not." So anyway, now
next question.
proceed.
So next question.
No. Let's see what Boo's got now.
All right,
My friend Andy, the first time I met Andy, we played Rooster Rock State Park, and the water levels were really high. He threw one of his putting putters off the tee, and it ended up in a pond. He had to go swimming for it. It was definitely not swimming weather, that sort of thing. So ever since then, we had kind of talked about the fact that you always tell people not to throw your putting putter. Don't throw tee shots with the putter that you use around the basket. Good advice. Pretty simple to follow. Andy, now next time we're out at Rooster Rock, this time we're in the wooded side of the course, is another 9 that's back in the woods. We get up to hole 9. He's never seen the shot before. It's a short putter shot. And I'd warn him that if you get up by the basket and you fade out, or if you go a little too far, you can soar off of a cliff.
Whoa.
He doesn't care. He steps up with his challenger, gets up on the tee pad. He says, "This one's for EMAC." And he throws the challenger.
In your face.
Maybe 20, 25 minutes later of looking around for it.
In your
it
face.
actually did turn up. He went all the way down the cliff and all the way back up, but he had luckily checked up right behind the basket, had a little birdie look, but didn't convert. I'll check you guys later.
So moral of the story, kids,
Andy.
do not throw your putting putters.
Andy.
Just don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
No. All right, let's see what Dylan
Unless
has.
you're me,
unless
who
you're-
has like,
1 million putting
well,
putters.
just continuously putting putters in and out.
yeah,
of
but
that.
you know,
But no,
that's neither here nor there.
don't do it.
All right, next one's from Dylan.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. I was wondering if there was any mandate for a sponsored player to use said sponsor's discs. For example, I'm somebody who would love to be sponsored by Dynamic Disc. I'm working on improving my game so that one day maybe I can be. But there are a few Innova discs I throw that I'm trying to swap out with Dynamic Discs. Is there any rule stating that I would not be able to use Innova discs? Just curious. Thank you.
All right, I want to weigh in on this.
Go ahead.
Before you get in there, Robert McCall. I can see
Before you
wanting
get
to
in there.
What do you think? Do you think I'm going to come out guns blazing?
I don't know.
No.
I can see. Well, no, because I do a lot because of my nature of my job. I do a lot of probably more than I need to. I read a lot of social media because I like learning from people.
I like
and-
to have your finger on the pulse.
Exactly. I like to learn from people. I like to see how people react to different things. So I pay attention to a lot of things that go on social media. Anyway, and a lot of times I will see people when they say they won't understand why someone wants to throw disc from one particular brand, and they'll say unless you're sponsored. I got to tell you, Dylan. There's no to say there's a rule. Maybe, yes, there's a rule, but there's nothing mandating. In other words, we're not going to, well, I don't know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, here's
You
what
talk
I'm
about the
getting
pre-sponsorship portion because that's what you're addressing.
at. Right. No, but what okay, I'm just going to keep it real. This is what I'm getting.
Keep it real.
Dylan, what do you think the answer is?
Harsh.
Coming in hot.
I almost feel like I need to go to the judge and say, Judge, permission to be hostile with the witness.
I would have said no to that one had you told me ahead, but that's okay.
But Dylan, I'm not. I know it may feel maybe I feel like I'm picking on your target. I'm not. But anybody that has that type of question, and yes, you're probably new to the sport, but do you think Tiger Woods gets to have a Titleist club?
Yes, he does.
Oh
No, he doesn't.
oh!
I don't know
Not
what
when
he uses
was,
now.
He was sponsored by Nike for a while,
Right.
Nike's out of the game now.
Well,
right? But back in the day,
I know what you're saying.
what would be the point of a sponsor of a company investing in a player saying we want to help you by paying for this, paying for that, giving you bonuses? What would be the point of doing that if that person was not
promoting your product.
Yeah. So
this question does come up a lot, but it doesn't come up in
this way.
It usually comes up as, okay, I want to be sponsored by DD. Can I throw Latitude 64 or can I throw Westside Discs?
Well, now that I get that, but
that's the question I see more than, hey, I want to be sponsored by DD. Can I throw a Discraft Banger GT or those usually don't come up. Those questions I don't usually hear a whole lot of. But to answer your question, absolutely not.
Right.
And for me, being I was sponsored by Discraft for 10 years and now DD. When I'm sponsored by a company like DD, I want to support them because they support me.
Right.
I don't want to have competitors' discs in my bag, like Innova Discs or Discraft it or anything for that matter. I mean, sure, I respect players that have the contracts with Innova, Discraft across the board. That's
we've got
fine.
Great friends on those teams.
I do, and props to them. But I'm gonna support those that support me.
Right. And so I apologize, Dylan, if I came across harsh, but
just a little.
It's just, I mean, come on, you're not gonna see someone who's sponsored by Pepsi go around drinking a Coke.
Except that commercial. Do you remember that commercial?
Yes. To be fair, there are some disc manufacturers that allow their players to throw a mixed bag
because they don't have a complete lineup.
That's untrue. That's untrue. There are companies that have a complete lineup that don't require their players to throw all of their discs. That's true.
Who?
I could. We're going to do this? I'm pretty sure Legacy doesn't require their players to throw an entirely Legacy bag. I think they can throw what they would like to. Gateway is the same way. When they've had sponsored players, you can use, as long as you use some Gateway.
At one point, I remember hearing Gateway was it Gateway or Vibram? Vibram was the one.
Vibram is like that as well.
You have to have Vibram putters, but you can have whatever else you want.
Yep, Vibram is like that. I've heard of companies who are like that, who maybe don't. At the time when they started that, they probably didn't have the most complete lineup, but now that they do, they still kept that same rule. For a dynamic disc sponsorship, we require all of our players to throw dynamic discs, Latitude 64 or Westside discs, because those are the companies that we're partnered with. Those are the ones that we want to promote and that we want our players to promote. I would say this: if you're seeking sponsorship, I think the best thing to do is just to enjoy playing disc golf. Throw what works for you. If that's what it takes for you to get to
get noticed.
Yeah, whatever rating you need to be at, or whatever community things you need to do, events you need to run. However that goes, you need to do what works best for you, and then worry about sponsorship later. Right. Yeah. I think this is one thing that I see. I see a lot of players getting into the sport early, and then I'll immediately get a sponsorship request from them. And it's great. Like, we love hearing from people who want to support our company because they love what we're doing. But you need to know this isn't something that fresh out of the gate we're going to say, here's some free stuff if you promote us. We want to partner with people who are out there all the time, who are playing a ton of tournaments, who are doing very well, and who are highly respected out there as well. If they've got a bad attitude or a bad kind of reputation, I'm not really excited about having that person on my team. On the flip side of that, there are also people on our team who are great at running events and coordinating fundraisers and a lot of things like that. And so there are a couple of different aspects that we look at when we look to add new players, but just throwing our discs is not one of them. I would love for a player, when they first talk to me, to at least be some familiar with our discs so that we have a common starting ground. But
I mean, if they're reaching out to us for sponsorship, I would hope that they are fans of us first,
right?
And want to and know that they can throw our plastic. Yeah, that avenue, as opposed to, hey, I have an all Innova bag, but I want to be sponsored by you.
Oh, I get lots of those too.
Yeah,
I get lots of all sorts of stuff that I won't share. But anyway, great question, because our players are committed to us and we're committed to them. We want them to promote our discs, and we're going to promote them as players.
Legacy only has 2 mid-ranges.
Well, yeah.
How's that a complete lineup?
They have a couple.
That's not a complete lineup.
Okay. I mean, you can make whatever argument you want on that. I'm just saying there are companies that have a lot of discs that still allow their players to throw mixed bags.
I think what Bobby is saying, for as far as a complete lineup, I think he's talking about
like all stability is covered. Is that
Right.
what you mean?
In other words, part. I mean, and this is not a bash on Legacy at all. I'm just just pointing out that it was said that they have a complete lineup. They do not have a complete lineup. Yes, could someone compete with everything that they have? Yes,
right. And they've got a lot of players who compete with only Legacy bags, and they do exceptionally well.
Oh, absolutely. But when I say complete lineup, I mean that if their team were to grow and grow and grow and grow, I would imagine some people would say, well, hey, I don't have this slot filled when it comes to mid range.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I understand that at the beginning of DD, and even probably maybe now, not now, but partly why we said it was okay to throw everybody because we knew we didn't have a complete line. So we wanted people.
When you say everybody, well, I think the first year
there was a transition.
There was like 3 months or something like that. I think 3 to 6 months. I don't think it was a full year that we were able to throw whatever we wanted. Because I remember the first event at Town Lake, we all said, no, we're going to support DD. We're going to throw all of this, and we all suck.
Everybody played like garbage.
Oh, man, because we're learning new stuff. I mean, it was I took a 5 on hole 1 at LL Woods. How good is that?
All right, Dylan. I will apologize
Not
again,
good.
Dylan, for being so harsh. But come on. I mean, come on.
Not to beat a dead horse, but let's just beat a dead horse.
I'm just being mean. I'm just being mean now. So, okay. So on a lighter note, let's talk about some things we have coming up.
Yes.
We have Texas trip for Bag of Tricks.
Nice.
So me, Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
Me, Robert, and me, Robert, and AJ.
You sound like it's a go.
I mean, we'll
talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. It's a maybe.
So there's a Texas trip coming up on January 20th, and Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis have come up with some really cool ideas. They're calling it the Bag of Tricks. You can follow their YouTube page and Facebook page, Whale Pants, and they put like a quick explainer video out there. But I'm sure, Robert, because they've explained it to you.
Yeah, we kicked the idea around.
What's the
for a little
elevator
while.
pitch for Bag of Tricks?
So Bag of Tricks is just a one round event intended for you to learn more types of disc golf shots or to get to practice the ones that you know but don't use very much. So for 18 holes on the course, you can throw 3 backhand shots. These are all shots off the tee. 3 backhand shots, 3 forehand shots, 3 backhand rollers, 3 forehand rollers, 3 overhand shots, and then 3 player's choice. So that's cool. Throughout the course of the round, if you're a backhand dominant player, you can throw no more than a third of your tee shots can be backhand shots. The rest have to be forehands, backhand rollers, forehand rollers, or overhand shots. So this is just encouraging people to learn different types of shots, to learn some of the different discs in their bag and how they act on those type of shots. And then if you win your division, you win a bag. That's why it's called Bag of Tricks. Kind of works both ways. So if there's a certain amount of people in your division, then you might win a trooper bag. If there's quite a few more people in your division, maybe you have a shot at a commander or a ranger H2O or something like that. So there's a lot of incentive for people to come out and make these really big fields so that you have a shot at winning a bag and even a nicer one.
Yeah,
that's cool. I really like that idea.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Concept.
I'm going to be awful at it, but I'm sure as heck going to try.
I don't think you'll be awful at it. I mean, you've got a pretty decent forehand.
Yeah, I'm okay on the forehand. And backhand rollers are, And
you're playing Carrollton. The rollers are going to be difficult because there's not a whole lot of rollers out there. Yep. Forehand rollers are going to be rough.
Yes. Which course are we playing at?
I think just Jimmy Porter. Yeah.
Jimmy Porter. So Jimmy Porter in the Dynamic Disc Carrollton area. If you're in that area, look for that information.
If you're in the Dynamic Discs Carrollton area, that's the name of the city now.
The overhand shots, though, I don't throw those very much. So if we'll have a good time with it.
If you're in that area, look on Facebook for Whale Pants. And I think you can look in our event page, section 2 of Dynamic Disc, but you can get more information out there about that. But myself, Roberts, and AJ Risley are going, and I'm going to go out there, obviously, to film. And
we're going to have a disc golf adventure.
We're going to take the RV. That's going to be fun. So anyway, it's going to be good times. And the reason we're going out to the film is so that we can help Eric and Tina promote it a little bit more with some video and stuff like that. So good times.
And because we want to take the RV somewhere.
Yes. I mean,
that's secondary. But
of course, still. We may get it out there and be like, I don't want to do the RV no more.
I don't even like this anymore.
Yeah, right.
All right. Let's see a couple questions on SpeakPipe. Let's see. This is from 83071.
Hey, Bobby, Eric, and Robert. Hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for all that you do. I am just calling in today because I was at a tournament last week, and during the players' meeting, a gentleman got up and announced that he was running an event at one of our local courses this spring. The event sounded like it was somewhat similar to the Next Gen Championship, except for he called it something else. I don't remember what. And pretty much it sounded like 16 people get together on a course, and they all compete. And then, you work your way up from there until you have your finalists. And then, it sounded like the finalists got some pretty nice stuff. But I wasn't able to find more information about that on the DD website. Hoping maybe you guys have some more information about that. Hopefully you do, Robert. I look forward to hearing it, and keep it real, guys. Thank you.
All right, so this is FN 83071. No,
FN. We do have some more information about that.
What you're talking about is the United States Amateur Match Play Championships, and we are very excited for this in 2018. It's a match play type event where you can get your state involved, but I'm going to turn it over to Eric and Robert because they know much more about match play than I do.
Yes. Do you want to talk about the match play format? Or you want me to just go for it?
Go ahead and talk about the event, and then we can kind of both talk about that.
Cool. So the USAMPC, I want more letters, but whatever. U.S. Amateur Match Play Championship is going to be set up in a local qualifier and a regional qualifier and then a national championship. So for the local qualifier, the first 16 players to sign up at the local qualifiers will be the people who are in. And then through a partnership with UDisc, those names will be randomized so that we're going to set up a bracket basically with those 16 people. And if you win, you move on to the next station. That's just how it is the entire time. It's a one and done, single elimination match play event.
It's very similar to like March Madness.
Yeah.
As far as the bracket system goes. And you play somebody. Now,
correct. There's no seeding.
You're not necessarily seeded.
Right.
But it's overall the same concept.
Yes, exactly. It's a one and it's a one and done. So I'm pretty sure it's $40. You get a couple of exclusive discs to the event. And then you start playing matches. And if you win your local qualifier, you move on to the regional qualifier, which is usually around your state. Some states will have to combine things like that. But you move on to your regional qualifier, and then that'll only have 16 competitors max as well. If you win that, so at that point you would have won, let's see, you need 4 matches I guess you need to win 3 times to win well, now I'm having a hard time. 4 times to win a 16-person bracket. You win another 4 times and you win the regional bracket. Then you get to come to Emporia and compete in the national championship. That'll have, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, that'll have 64 players in it. So a lot more people to work through, but there are increasingly better prizes as you move on. So if you get to the regional, it's a better prize than when you started at the local, which was a couple of discs. If you get to come to Emporia and compete in the national championship, we're going to cover $500 of your travel costs. Just here's a $500 check.
Here's $500.
Thank you for coming out. If you end up winning this thing, and I found this out live, and so I reacted live because I thought it was really cool. If you win this thing, then you win free discs for life. And put an asterisk by life because it's really 20 years, but still life. So how that works is we're going to put $2,000 worth of credit into a dynamicdiscs.com online account for you the first year. Go nuts. $2,000 buys a whole lot of discs.
A lot of Frisbees.
Yes. And for every year after that, for the 19...
Do you know how many EMAC Truths they could get?
There's so many.
My goodness.
They could probably pay your mortgage at that point.
Let's do it.
And think about it if you do win this.
Yeah, please.
And then for the 19 years after that, an additional $500 will be added to that account afterwards. So basically, if you need a disc, you will have it for the next 20 years. You'll have it.
Yeah.
It's going to be
awesome,
super
I'm
duper
so
cool.
Stoked on that.
Yes.
And match play is so much fun. It's a whole different animal.
Yes.
Than regular just stroke play golf. Anybody can win match play.
Yes.
Anybody. I mean, all you have to do is have a few good holes. Like for instance, we used to do this at the Players Cup. You know, the Players Cup used to be just a regular old major, normal event. And then it took a year off, and then it was transformed into a match play event. And it was great. I remember going down there and playing that, and you really got to stay on top of your game the entire time.
Yeah, you can't get lazy.
The one good thing is if you shank a shot or you know you're going to lose the hole, you can just concede. Just pick it up. Let's go to the next one. That doesn't matter that you beat me by 8 strokes on that one hole.
Right.
That doesn't matter. You know, so you got 1 point.
Yep.
It's just so much fun. And I've been wanting something like this in our sport for a very, very long time. And to have DD doing it is not just me, because I'm obviously a biased opinion here, but they're going to kill it. Yeah. And coming to Emporia, I mean, man, that's to me, that's everybody's dream, right, in my opinion, to want to come here and get treated like royalty and a chance to win discs for life.
Absolutely. Nice. And the website that you need to check out is discgolfmatchplay.com. Go there. You can register a local qualifier. If there isn't one in your area, you can just register to run one.
Run one yourself.
To one. You can register to run one.
While you hunt wabbit.
Be very, very quick. You can run one and participate in it yourself. There's no stipulation against
doing that.
No, you can't. You're rated too high.
Man.
But so go to discgolfmatchplay.com. You can compete.
I like how you both went.
Discgolfmatchplay.com. You can check that out. Get you a lot of information on that, and look into running one of those in your area.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one is from Dylan and on Facebook. Hello, Robert, and Eric.
Is this the same Dylan?
No, this is different Dylan.
All right.
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and apologize since his name's Dylan. Since I was so harsh on the first Dylan. He says, let's say it's cold, which it is.
It is.
You're throwing really old baseline plastic. The disc smashes into the cage, cracks in half, and only goes half in.
Oh, no.
What is the ruling if half of a disc goes into the basket and the half doesn't?
Good question. The rule on broken discs is you play from the larger piece.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's, I mean, I really don't know what to say if it's too close to call, but usually they don't crack exactly in half, but it is the larger piece. So if you throw and hit a tree and it cracks in half on the tree and half of it goes in the basket and the other half goes in the lake, you know, I mean, it depends on which one the bigger side is.
You better hope the bigger side is in the basket.
Yes, exactly. So you do play from the bigger piece.
Yes. Now, he said if you put it into the cage and it breaks, so if it enters through the cage, that doesn't count.
Yes.
You would need to make it like a regular putt over the cage, but then if it broke while in the basket or hit a tree in the larger half bounce in the basket, however that happens.
Or if it hit and shattered and goes over.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
totally fine. As long as it goes in one of the legitimate ways that a putter can go in the basket.
Which is very confusing for 2018.
Yes. But as long as the larger or largest piece, because it may break into 3 pieces, as long as the largest piece entered the basket legally, then that would be what you'd go with.
Yep.
Next one is from Jeff. He also said it into Facebook Messenger. Disc Golf Answer Man, does temperature affect stability? My friend, I know that when I get too cold, I get a little unstable.
Same.
My friend, my friend and I played in low 20-degree temps today, and our discs seem to fly with less stability than normal. I played with a brand new Wraith right off the shelf and was getting some of the best hyzer flips I've seen from a Wraith before. Another friend playing with us said he had only heard that lower temps caused overstability. Materials typically contract in cold and expand in heat, but I don't know how, if at all, this affects the stability of a disc. What do you guys think?
Yes, I think it affects the stability of a disc. I don't know to what degree. I know the reason I think a lot of people think everything is more overstable is because they aren't throwing with as much power. I think that has a lot to do with it. But I have noticed, I personally think everything is more understable in cold weather. And even like sub 40s, I would say would be a good degree to determine it off of. But anything under that for me, I noticed that the other day when we were playing, I had a few discs that were flipping over a little bit harder for me. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So I absolutely think it tends to be a little bit more understable. The people that think it's more overstable, in my opinion, I feel like they're just not putting as much power. Because one, you're either layered up more and it hurts.
Yes.
It's cold.
Yes, it always hurts.
You just don't put as much power on it.
Yep. I'm like you. Most of the time, I feel like my discs are more understable when it's cold.
Yes.
And that's for me because I think I'm trying to compensate by thinking, oh, I'm cold. I need to hit this harder to get a little bit more out of it. And so usually I turn discs over more when it's cold.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh,
I don't know.
No, I wanted to. I just got back from New York. I had a trip out there to see some family. What I thought was really cool, I wanted to give a shout out to a guy named Tim. I was
What's up, Tim?
What's up, Tim?
Hey, Tim.
I was on getting ready to get on the plane in Rochester, New York, and
Did you get recognized?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I was my wife was with me, and Sue had already scanned her little boarding pass and was walking to the the concourse. Anyway, some guy comes with me. Hey, you the disc golf answer man? I said, yeah. Hey, how are you? What's your name? And he said his name was Tim. And he's like, oh man, it's good meeting you. So I just thought it was cool.
Awesome.
This is really cool. So
I'm kind of pissed that you accepted that you are the disc golf answer man in his presence.
It's true.
what did you want me to say?
He said, "Are you the disc golf?"
I work with him though.
I've explained
This all could have been avoided, Bob.
I've explained this.
I am obviously joking. That's
I know. Well, I
fantastic.
know you are, but I explained this to Terry Miller because he said, "Should we change the name to Disc Golf Answer Men?" No, the Disc Golf Answer Man is whichever man or woman
Disc golf answer woman.
answers
Disc
your
golf answer
question.
person.
Yes, is your disc golf answer man.
Yes.
So if you ask a question and I can better answer it, then I become your disc golf answer man.
Forever.
So in that moment,
So you're the only person they can ask questions to after that.
Yes.
in that moment, I was Tim's disc golf answer man.
I like it. I feel like if I came back, honestly, I feel like if I came back and somebody said, "Hey, are you the disc golf answer man?" I'd be like, "Yeah." Y'all would have been like, "Shut up.
Yeah, we would have.
You're dumb."
Yeah, we would have.
You.
Yeah.
Standard.
Anyway, next one is from Chris.
Standard.
Hey guys, Chris here from Kentucky. You guys are awesome. Love the show, and just love listening to your insight. A couple quick questions. First one is I've been playing for about 5 years, and max distance isn't real far. It's only about 230, 250, but I only play about once a month. But recently, my 9-year-old daughter's been getting interested, and I would just like to make sure I could help her grow, hopefully beyond what I can do, and really help. So any insight you guys could give me on what to do to help her would be awesome. And then secondly, I wonder how we...
Let's do the first one first.
Let's do the first one first. Just a lot of things you could do is, well, first off, props for letting your daughter be involved and bringing her out. Let her be a sponge. Let her just come out and play with you. And you know, at that age, don't force anything.
Don't try to correct too much.
Don't try to correct anything, really. I mean, sure, if there's a couple obvious things, you can change it up a little bit. But
say, try this.
Yeah, try this. How about you try this or whatever? You know, disc selection is probably going to be the most important. So I'd recommend getting her some diamonds, rubies, pearls. I know that sounds. Get her some diamonds, rubies, and pearls, and breakouts, and all that. But those discs are going to be great for her to begin with. But the key is make sure she's having fun. Because if she's not having fun, she's not going to want to come back. You know, you don't want to discourage it. You let her fall in love with the sport the way you did. So just make sure you're having a good time.
Yep. That's all I would say.
Next part of his question.
Go about getting a skins match here. I've been watching your guys' coverage of the skins matches you guys have done, and is there any way to get one in the area? I know that the Idlewild Open is on the Pro Tour, and that's about a 10-minute drive from here. So any way I could hook up and possibly get a skins match going and we could get a group together, it would be awesome. So I'm just interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks.
So I believe what he's talking about, luck of the draw, right? The skins match we did 3 of them so far. We did one in Emporia, one in Kansas City, and one at the Hollows.
In New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire. Those were kind of testers, feeler outers, because we each, if you pay close attention to the videos, the format sort of changes as far as the prizes and how we pick and stuff like that. Little things that maybe you didn't pick up on, maybe you do, because we were trying to figure out what worked best. So I think we have a good understanding of what would work best. And I know that Paige Pierce and Ricky Wysocki are sort of heading that up with, of course, help from us to figure that out. Do you know any more, Robert, as far as like specific dates or plans or execution?
Sure. So the best thing that you can do right now is look up Luck of the Draw skins match on Facebook, and then just send them a message with your information, where you live. And we are keeping track of those right now. We're going to start organizing those here in the next little bit. But for the most part, it's best if you live in or near a place where like a Pro Tour stop is going to be, or a national tour or something like that. So when you said Idlewild, I think there's a It's like a real likelihood that you could get an event out there. We just want to make sure that we've got good contact information for somebody who can set that up and facilitate the raffle ticket sales and day of the event and everything like that. So definitely message us there, and we'll get some organization started on that soon.
Excellent. One thing that we want to talk about is we got reached out to by Dustin Leatherman.
Yes.
And he has him and Hannah Leatherman have a really cool organization called Eagles Wings Disc Golf. They have come out to how many GBOs? 3 or 4? The last 3 or 4?
About 25.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 Glassbone Open events, and they've held chapel services, I believe, usually on the night of check-in, right? Right after check-in.
Yep, right after check-in.
So
right after the player meeting, I thought.
Right. So if you're traveling a lot, or if Glassbone Open is one of the things you travel to, and you want to be able to go to a chapel service, they're there to provide that for you.
They do that at lots of stops on the tour as well.
Yeah.
So make sure you try to see if you figure out if Eagles Wings is out there. Anyway, this is what he sent to us. I'm just to get everything in there, I'm just going to read what he asked us to talk about. He says, Eagle Wings Disc Golf is partnering with Didi and others to offer a junior grant with 6 winners for 2018. The grant is designed to reward juniors who not only are excelling on the course, but who are seeking to make a difference in their disc golf communities through serving and teaching. You can apply on the Eagles Wings Disc Golf website through February 16th. All 6 winners will receive paid entry into either Junior Worlds or the United States Junior Disc Golf Championships, along with a custom Dymax DD disc. Some cool stuff from team members such as Eric McCabe, Tina Stenitis, and Ricky Wysocki, along with items from Paragon, Upper Park, Kids Disc Golf, U-Disc, and Mr. Disc Golf. More details can be found if you need them. Let's see. Looks like their website is pushtherock.com, but I'll put the complete, because it's a fairly long URL. I'll put the complete link in the description notes of this particular episode, so you can check that out. He said, this is our 2nd year running, and we're just hoping to get the word out to as many people as possible.
Awesome.
So just wanted to share that because they do so much for us when it comes to Glassbone Open, and they helped out a lot with the junior event that we had last year. So we want to
every year they've been involved.
Oh, every year.
Dustin has been involved in some shape or form with the juniors event.
So we kind of want to pay it back to them and give them some exposure for that. So
for sure,
definitely check that out at pushtherock.com. Let's see. We got a few more minutes for a couple more questions. We'll do a couple more just to wrap things up. This one's from Brad. When I throw, my hand placement is on top of the disc at, say, about 12 o'clock. All other form issues aside, does this affect the flight characteristics of the disc or even the power I can put on it? Also, when will DD release the new discs? I'm impatiently waiting for the getaway.
You and me both, my friend.
Yes.
So
for the 12 o'clock placement, it depends on where the disc is in your throw. For if that matters or not.
Depends on the shot you're throwing too.
True. But all right, so if you're holding the disc out in front of you, then your your hand should really be at 3 o'clock on the disc. You should be on the side of it, right? And that's how you want your arm to look, is basically straight through your arm and through your wrist. 3 o'clock is where you want your hand to be. Now, eventually, when you're getting ready to throw your shot, your hand will end up somewhere around 12 because you break your elbow a little bit, you break your wrist a little bit. But what you don't want is to start the disc curled and then pull it back curled as well. You really want that to be a straight forearm through a straight wrist when you're holding the disc, and only break your wrist when your arm is forced to.
Right.
That's how you get good snap on the disc. That's how you ensure more consistency, because if your wrist is already curled, at some point you're going to have to think, I need to uncurl my wrist. If it's not, then you can allow your body and the force coming through your arm to rip the disc out of your hand. That's going to give you the best consistency.
Yeah, you're going to definitely have a wide range of shanks.
Yes.
Potentially.
All sorts. So yeah, that's what I would work on. Start it at 3 o'clock and make sure that your forearm to your wrist through the top of your hand is all in one line at the 3 o'clock point of the disc.
Point taken.
Excellent. Where was I going next with that? Sorry, I got sidetracked. All right, so
interesting.
What was the other part of his question?
I don't know. You should read it again.
No, I deleted it. Oh, the new molds.
Oh, yes.
So the new mode. So and I want to address this because we've got quite a few people asking about the new mode. So
tomorrow,
yeah, no. For sure, the patrol comes out when we do the trilogy challenge because it is our mid range for the trilogy challenge.
So you'll be looking at that around May.
Okay.
May.
The Maverick. The other ones we don't have specific dates.
One of them is a GBO, I believe.
One of them's going to be a GBO.
One of them's a GBO release.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure the other two are going to be March-ish.
I think.
Do not quote me on that. If they don't come out in March, do not break down my door and say you told me.
By June, you'll have these discs.
There,
you'll have the opportunity to have all these.
I think the first three are slated for spring release.
Yes, they are.
But again, don't hold this to us. This is this hearsay, total hearsay. You never know.
It's just rumor mill, scuttlebutt.
Now, one thing, if you're really itching to get now, again, I don't know exactly. This is just a guesstimation. But a lot of times with new molds, we like to kind of tease it out there with tournament fundraisers in different plastics. So if you're super excited, kind of pay attention to different tournaments and stuff like that.
No, we won't do that.
We won't do that?
Probably not.
Okay.
Doing things totally differently this year.
Completely flipping the script.
Yes, do check that out.
So last question is from Felix. He says, hello, answer men.
See in your face.
He doesn't know he's a cat.
It's true. That is true.
He says, a few years back, I injured my knee using brand new shoes on a new concrete tee pad. After I visited the doctor, I was diagnosed with patellar tendonitis, also known as jumper's knee.
Oh. Hey, I used to have that.
Since I believe Emacs suffers the same ailment from time to time, what kind of tips would you, Mr. McCabe, share with folks dealing with this? And then he ends with, help me, Eric McCabe. You're my only hope.
Nice.
Did you get that from just jamming the basketball over and over?
I got it from dunking.
So this is my
constantly
point.
just
right now, Eric is his disc golf answer man.
I am
Okay.
the disc golf answer man right now.
So what do you got from Eric?
How you guys doing out there? No, I was gonna look up the link on the brace that I'd use, but when I had it, it was very concerning because it was hurting, and I'd never had anything like this before, and I'd never had knee issues, nothing. And I actually went to my chiropractor and was telling him what was going on, and I was concerned that first thing, oh my gosh, this is my
ACL or
ACL,
whatever.
MCL, whatever they are, those need replaced. Hopefully not. I'm scared. What do I need to do?
Right.
Well, come to find out that wasn't the case. He could do some adjusting to it, and he gave me the same diagnosis. Yes. I'm not a car.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did some adjusting on it, and he told me, take it easy. Don't put all your pressure on it. And he gave me a recommendation for a band.
Yeah.
Not a brace. It's just a band. It's about an inch thick, I would say. And it has like a funky little impression that kind of goes right on your kneecap, and it just kind of holds that all in place. And I didn't think it would work.
Right. Because I mean, when it's on your knee, it's like, okay, well, you're wearing it's like a sweatband.
Yeah. I'm like,
looks like you're wearing a sweatband.
I'm like, is this
Are you really that sweaty?
Yeah, I am.
And yes. The answer yes.
I'm like, I don't know. Is this really going to work? But amazingly, it did. And of course, going to the chiropractor and he did some adjusting that helped as well. A lot of people said ice, but he told me to heat it, put heat on it. So I always put some heat on it in the evenings when I used it a lot. But get that little band. You can buy it anywhere. You can buy it at Walmart. You can buy it at CVS.
You can make it yourself.
You can't make it yourself.
Leaves, grass, just
sticks.
Sew those together.
Sew these together.
No, yeah, don't do that.
Try not to make it. But any type of pharmacy will carry this. It's just a small little band, and it's helped me tremendously. Like right now, I don't really have. I can play around without it.
Sure.
I don't have knee pain.
Every once in a while, you'll put it on just
I'll
for
bust
safety.
it on if I'm playing like a bigger course where I'm going to be walking a lot more, that kind of thing. But the good thing is it's not the end of the world. It's fixable.
Yes.
So there you go. There you go, Felix.
There you go, Felix.
Hopefully they make cat-sized ones of those.
Yes.
Felix. I don't even know
That's what I immediately thought of.
Yeah.
What is
the
it?
GIF?
Yeah.
The GIF? Whatever.
I say GIF because it's not graphics. Okay, it's graphics.
Talk to Clay.
GIF. Well, I will never talk to Clay. But yeah, of the cat just
The cat
Playing the piano or
no, on the
typing.
keyboard. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's all the time we have for this particular episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the flip side. Remember, make sure you're listening to tomorrow as well, because we're doing some fun things with surveys and polls on a separate recording. So make sure you are subscribed to us on iTunes. Let's talk about subscribing.
You know what? Let's talk about it.
So a lot of you guys listen on the website, and I get that. You listen from the website. Sometimes you download, but it would be so much more easier if you downloaded a podcast app like Downcast, Pocket Cast,
Stitcher.
Podcast.
and anything I put out, because I'm going to start putting out a lot of stuff, more stuff on audio, but I'm not always going to put it on the website. So find yourself. In fact, if you go to the question place, I think where you can submit a question, there's a
The question that makes me think of like that store, the Children's Place. Just go to the question.
Go to the question
It's
place.
in every mall in America. There's a link to the top 10 podcast apps for iPhones and the top 10 podcast apps for Android. Some of them are free. Some of them are paid. I actually paid for mine. I think I paid $2.99 because I love the flow of it. I love the way it works. I love how you can change the speed. There's different things that I like about it.
And because you're balling and have
I'm a baller.
expendable income like that.
Yeah, $3.
Dude, I'm just
What
saying.
did you spend on your coffee the other day?
It's $3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee.
I only did that once a year, though.
Yeah, I see. Anyway, so download and make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Get on there and download.
Yeah, just subscribe to the podcast.
Subscribe to the podcast. And if you have a few minutes,
leave us a review.
Yeah, leave us a review. We'd love for you to rate us 5 stars. 5 stars. But if you don't want to, that's fine. But 5 stars would be amazing. Yeah, just don't go out and rate us. 5 stars would be amazing. Let's go see if we have some people.
Let's get some shout outs. We haven't done that in a while, right?
That is true.
We're going to start doing that.
So we're going to go to on the store, the podcast.
We got some new hats here while he looks at that.
Yeah.
Check out these new hats.
Yeah,
For all you audio listeners, these things are amazing.
It's like last week when I put my shoes up and the guy photoshopped it.
Yep.
Photoshop some stupid thing on this.
Yes.
Now you can know what it looks like for me wearing a hat. I know. It's like I'm not even the same person.
No.
See. And
Wow.
do you see what Danny Lindahl put on there? He put that.
Yeah, how do I put my
wear this
hat on? Yeah.
And then he tagged me and I told him, don't wear hats. Can't cover up your hair.
So if you search disc golf in iTunes, you get there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish disc golf podcasts. There are a couple from us that were some trial experiments that are still out there that I wish I could get rid of. But you definitely want to go to the one that says Disc Golf Answer Man by Dynamic Discs, and that's the one you want to subscribe. We have 202 ratings. Let's see.
Nice.
And I'm going to read them no matter what they say. This one is a 5-star. The best, hands down, best podcast to listen to at half speed.
Half speed.
Try it. You will not be disappointed.
I was gonna
On
say-
a lighter note, great podcast and helps fuel my disc golf addiction
That's
all year
fantastic.
round.
And for those of us with deeper voices, half speed is even better.
I bet. Let's see. Newbie perspective, 5 stars. Just started playing 3 months ago, and I have having a great time. At this point, I don't really have someone showing me or talking about disc golf often enough to really scratch that itch for instructional info.
Yeah.
Enter Disc Golf Answer Man. I have been listening to this podcast nearly every day to glean as much information as possible by going through the back catalog after listening to the recent stuff. The podcast has had a huge impact on my learning curve. Thanks to all involved with the podcast.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thanks, man.
Let's see. 5 stars from Dreams of Plastic. Great podcast. Very informative. I can honestly say it has helped my game listening and learning. It has also motivated me to become active in the community and start my new company, Dreams of Plastic. Shout out.
Cool.
I will say, though, I miss the days when it was just
Hateful. He said he was going to read it no matter what. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I miss the days when it was just Emac and Cool Daddy. The new guy is a little out of his element and talks way too much. Love the show anyways. I'm a big fan.
Wow.
Sorry.
Hey, Dreams of Plastic, I take back your shout out. That's cool. Everybody's got an opinion. You're welcome to voice yours.
Do you need some ointment?
Here's one that's only
Oh, it's a deep burn.
here's a 3-star.
All right.
These guys do a decent job of answering most disc golf questions. Eric offers perspective of a world champion, which is always valuable. What do we got to do? What do we got to do?
Wait. Read that one again.
These guys do a decent job of answering most.
We answer all the questions that come to us.
In fact, we go on overtime sometimes to answer all the questions. I got to tell you, Abach Cod, what do we got to do to earn those 2 extra stars, man?
Yeah, come on, buddy.
Come on.
Send in a question. Let us know.
Anyway, let us
Send
know
us
the
a question.
In the meantime, we'll be answering most of the other questions.
Yes. And so, yeah. Anyway, thanks for sending in those rating reviews. Please continue to do that. And we'll see you next week. And Robert will work on his
Gosh,
question.
I guess so.
On his absence.
Bye.
No, I was kidding.